What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. After Sound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here in this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. All right, guys, we had another town square this morning, September 18th, 2023. I got my 5 biggest takeaways from it. There's no usual, official summary from the team, although I know several of the other content creators, video content creators, do full summaries. For me, that's just the 5 things that kind of stuck out, and I'm here to share them with you. So first of all, shout out to Aggie. Happy birthday. It is his birthday today, as he mentioned on the Town Square stream. So hope for many more, man. I hope you have a fantastic day. All right, let's dive in. Main thing, number 1, Land 1.5, which did go live in the Mav QA server very late Friday night. Man, we really appreciate the team, their effort, the time that they're putting in. It was super late on Friday night. The Mavs have had a chance to tinker around with it for the entire weekend, and so here is where we stand. There are about 18 bugs left to fix before it can go live. And Aggie gives a good analogy here, driving in Los Angeles, right? Where if you have to go 3 miles, you know how far 3 miles is, but depending on traffic, depending on, accidents and whatever might be going on, it could take 3 minutes or 3 hours. So if we're looking at it from that standpoint, we still don't know. The team hasn't given any ideas on when it will be live. They said they have some internal dates, but I personally wouldn't be surprised if it took a little while longer. I don't know how much or how big these bugs are compared to the other bugs that they were fixing, but keep in mind that the Mavs can also find new bugs that will need to be addressed. So while 1.0 was in the Mav server for about a week before it went live, I can definitely see this being in the Mav server for much longer than that. So whether it's a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, my hope is that they get it out before the end of September, which would be a week from tomorrow. But at this point, I really don't know what to expect. So we'll see how the progress goes, and if the Mavs are able to break anything further, that will require more attention from the team. Okay, number 2, and this is probably going to be disappointing for some folks, but Weirdbeard confirmed that there is not going to be a grace period for Land 1.5, which means as soon as it goes live, those rewards start paying out. So if you are there within the first couple of minutes, hours, right, you will probably start to accumulate the most amount. Now, the benefit of doing a grace period, and even just like a 24-hour grace period, is the fact that this is probably going to launch at some point within the business hours for the US, right, or anybody in the US time zones. Whereas if you're in another part of the world, it might go live at 2 a.m. your time, and you could miss out significantly on not having things live. So I do understand the frustration for people that want a grace period and it's not going to be there, but at the same time, it's a land rush, right? And I, selfishly speaking, right, just because I want land out, and I know I'm not a large landholder, so that's where I'm saying I'm selfishly speaking, I just want land to be out. I just want it to be out. And no grace period, nothing, just the soonest that they can get it out. And the reason I say that is because Weirdbeard said that if they were to do a grace period, they'd probably have to code it in and do a whole bunch of things like that. I don't know that how that would necessarily work. Again, I'm not technical. It doesn't seem like it would take a lot of code, but either way, I'm going to take his word for it. And if it would delay us even a week, I wouldn't really want a grace period. Just saying that from my own personal selfish standpoint. So that is where we stand with this grace period. It's going to go live at some point, and that's just going to be that. So they will give us a heads up. They did confirm that they will give us a heads up as early as possible, and then kind of go from there. So again, whether it's the 26th, whether it's October 3rd, whether it's October 10th, I don't know. But we'll continue to keep an eye out, keep our ear to the ground, and I will let you guys know as soon as I hear anything. Now, speaking of upcoming releases and upcoming release windows, the Brawl Fray adjustments are planned for October 3rd as of now. Now, these were some things, these were, I think, originally planned for the end of August, or, I think Weirdbeard was trying to get tournaments and brawls updated in August. Obviously, this is getting pushed out a month plus now, but it kind of makes sense because if you think about the fact that he doesn't, or not he, but the team doesn't want to make any changes to the brawls or tournaments, basically reducing the amount of dependence on alpha gold foil beta until land is live. Well, obviously it was going to get delayed with land, right? So if land is coming out sooner, then maybe this actually could give us a little bit of a time frame where it could be, 2 weeks maybe for land to come out. If the team's able to get it out either on the 26th or on the 3rd, then, the Brawl Fire adjustments would be there to kind of impact and be around that time frame. So as somebody that doesn't own a lot of alpha beta cards, it makes me happy to see that we will start. It makes me happy to see that we will have a much more diverse landscape of. He actually didn't say tournaments, but hopefully tournaments are included in this. But at least for brawls, it'll make it a lot easier to fill up some of those brawls for newer guilds, newer players. But like I said, hopefully tournaments are involved in that. All right, number 4, Level Up Life was on the town square, came to chat. So shout out to Level Up Life, fantastic content creator out of the Philippines. And Aggie, during their conversation, mentioned that he will be pulling his DEC out of the LPs. Now, Level Up Life, I've spoken to him before, and he's talked in several places and mentioned this, and he did again on the town square, saying that he's one of the biggest liquidity providers, and he has zero plans of pulling out any of the DEC that he has in there, which means, as I've said before, you can kind of count it being somewhat safe. But on the other side, you have Aggie, who is planning to pull out all the DEC for his land. And Aggie has a ton of land, so it makes sense. I don't think that Aggie is going to be the only person that's doing this. And here's the important part. I was looking at where Aggie was at, and I think on both of the top 2 DEC pools on Hive Engine, right? So your SPS DEC and your Swap.Hive DEC. I think Aggie has, if I'm looking at his accounts correctly, anywhere between 5 to 10% of those pools. So I think that's actually phenomenal in a way, because it's going to reduce liquidity, which makes the price that much more volatile. If everybody's trying to go for DEC, well, all of a sudden less liquidity means that there's less to go around. Aggie's going to take it out of there and put it onto his land. And then on top of that, it doesn't take purchasing as much from a volume perspective in order to really move the price up. And if we're removing percentage points, right? Percentage points anywhere from 5 to 10%, not just Aggie, but everybody together, removing them from the liquidity pools, that's going to be major for DEC. On top of that, it's also going to be a benefit for those who are providing liquidity, because your APRs will go up. There'll be less people there. So it could incentivize people to actually burn SPS or take some of that DEC and put it back in, right? So again, we're locking things up, potentially burning some SPS for DEC if we start to get to that point, but we'll see where things end up. And then lastly, number 5, the team talked about focusing on revenue generation after land 1.5. So Dwayne was on Infidel 1258. So shout out to him. He Level Up Life and Dave McCoy were all speakers on the town square. And again, anybody can go on and speak. So if you ever want to in the future, you should definitely consider doing so. So shout out to all of them. But it was during Infidel's time to speak where he asked, like, is there a way that, community members can tip the team, right? Help with any kind of runway that the team has. And now Aggie, I think Aggie has to say this, right? I think it would probably set off alarms if Aggie said, yeah, the team's not doing well. But either way, I don't want to dig into this too much. Aggie has said that the runway for the team is fine. He's expecting a lot of upside for the markets. But more importantly, and in regards to this specific point, the team will be focused on revenue generation after land 1.5, which we know of one already, Rebellion. They've talked about that, right? And whether it was Rebellion or the mini, promo mini set, either of those were going to be revenue generating sets for the team, right? It's either a core set or a promo set. But he did mention Battle Pass as well. And I gotta say, I've tuned into every live stream. I've checked out most of Discord and things like that. I don't think that I've ever heard Aggie talk about the Battle Pass in a way where, yeah, we're considering how to add it in. The Battle Pass has always been this abstract topic that Weirdbeard has pushed for, saying we need new game modes and Battle Pass. But, Aggie talking about it and saying that we want to kind of implement ongoing revenue strategies a la the Battle Pass. Well, that gets me really excited, because the Battle Pass is something that we all want. And now when you have the CEO of the company talking about it, it's not just an abstract idea. It's probably something that's being discussed further. And, I don't know what the time frame for something like this would be. I don't know if it's even confirmed yet, but there is an appetite for it from the community. There is an incentive for the team if they want to try and have ongoing revenue for us to have these, things in game that allow for progress and just keep people engaged throughout. while. So, you know, whether it's 1.5, sorry, not 1.5, whether it's Rebellion or whether it's Battle Pass, you know, I think the team will, you know, fingers crossed, hopefully be fine. It really seems as though unless Bitcoin drops down, you know, and nukes down to like 10K, they're not going to be in as much trouble, or they're not going to be in trouble, I should say. But if Bitcoin nukes down to 10K, I think the entire crypto industry is going to be is going to be hurting at that point. So just something to keep in mind overall. So as we move forward, revenue generation's on the way. DEC, Land 1.5. The only thing that wasn't really touched on today was tower defense, although Weirdbeard did mention it in a comment saying that, you know, these are some of the things that the team is focusing on afterwards. So all that being said, I thought it was a pretty good town square. I'm excited. I hope that Land does come out sooner rather than later. Fingers crossed that it does come out within the next 2 weeks. So if not by the end of September, then very early October. But until that point in time, looking forward to where things go. That is all I have for you guys in this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'll catch you all in the next one and see you around the game. Take care.